Hey guys, and welcome to the Fish Room. I'm Rachel O'Leary and it's time for a Tuesday tip. Today I thought we would have a discussion about the age-old question of do you need a heater or not? Now I know that when you read any of the beginner books, articles, or even simply look online for resources, everyone has an opinion and the vast majority of them tell you that you absolutely need a heater for your aquarium. But I think that there's a very important caveat to that. You need a heater for your aquarium if you cannot maintain an appropriate range of temperatures for your fish. For instance, I have who knows how many aquariums running down here, and anyone who's been to my fish room will tell you it is balmy down here. I do not use heaters in my aquariums except for a few notable exceptions, which we'll go into in a minute. I think it's very important when you're determining your equipment that you have already made the decision of what fish you're going to be stocking. The vast majority of tropical species have a subtropical shift in their natural environment for a few months out of the year. This means that in my winter months anyway, it's okay if the temperature drops 5 or 10 degrees in my fish room, as long as it's not for the duration, it occurs naturally, and they get their warm-up period too. In fact, this can extend their lifespan and trigger spawning. Now that's not to say that heaters are absolutely not required in every scenario. There are some very good reasons to use a heater. That stability is very good. Obviously, you don't want your temperature going all over the place all year round. Using a heater also allows you to control variables if you're trying to spawn fish. In fact, some species require a certain temperature in order for you to get an even split of gender ratio from the offspring. Things like apistogrammas and a lot of dwarf cichlids, for instance, and even some live bearers. Now, for me, I don't use heaters in the vast majority of my tanks for a few reasons. One, I've yet to meet a brand of heater that hasn't failed. For me, the value of my livestock is paramount. I absolutely cannot risk losing a full tank of fish. And my fish room stays so warm that I really don't need heaters. Now I do use them for my Hypancistris plecos. They come from really warm water. Not something I can duplicate with my ambient temperature down here and still maintain everyone else's health. I think it's important to research the fish that we're going to be working with and really understand the range that they come from. Do they have a seasonal shift down into the lower temperatures, and if so, how low? What can we maintain in our environment for our fish? I think a lot of the time, the temperatures we're comfortable in our living environment will also work for our fish in those cooler months. Now I do also keep heaters around for a few key reasons. I mentioned the warm water fish, things like discus, rams, even some apistos and my Hypancistris. But I also think that they're very important to have around for disease treatment. There's several diseases that really respond quite well to a heat treatment. Now I prefer to not use heaters, not only because it's warm enough down here to not require them, and I could just keep them in the tank for redundancy, but also because of the energy consumption. I have a lot of aquariums, and if you have a lot of aquariums, I would really suggest considering insulating your room and using something to heat the ambient temperature of the room rather than heating each individual aquarium. That really adds up and is very bad for your energy bill. So should you use a heater or not? Well, that depends. What fish are you keeping? Where do they come from? What happens in nature there? Where is your aquarium? What temperature can you maintain? That's important to know. What are your goals for your aquarium? Do you just want to keep a beautiful tank, or do you want to breed your fish? All of these questions will help you determine whether or not you need a heater in your aquarium. And I think that a lot of you will find you really don't for the vast majority of species. In fact, there's a lot of species that absolutely require a cool down period. Some notable examples of that are Central American cichlids, which absolutely require a cool down period, a winter period, or they won't spawn. In my fish room, an example of that is rainbow shiners. Rainbow shiners and other darters and gobies and native fishes that I keep need a cool down period before they'll be triggered to spawn. And that's a cooler period than I can provide in my warm, toasty fish room. So just to recap, the things you need to figure out are what temperature can you maintain, what temperature range does your fish come from, and what are your goals for your aquarium. And I think if you sit down and answer those questions, you'll be able to make a good decision for your fish. Heater failures can be catastrophic, and for me are just not worth the risk in the vast majority of cases. Hope that helps. As always, let me know what you think below. Do you use heaters? If so, what brand do you like? Personally, I have yet to meet a heater that hasn't failed, but I've had the best luck when I've used inline heaters. Heaters that are kept outside the aquarium and plumbed through your filtration, through your canister filter, as well as titanium heaters. I have had nothing but trouble with the vast majority of commercially produced heaters. So let me know below what has worked for you. Which one have you had running for the longest time? And what are your opinions on whether you need to use a heater or not? As always, I appreciate your guys' input, so let me know any comments, suggestions, or questions below. Don't forget to subscribe, as well as stop by my Facebook as well as my website, MsJinx.com, where you can find my upcoming speaking engagements, my current stock list, and information on all things now.